So as you guys know, or hopefully as you know, the point of these weekly videos is to help you understand what's happening in the economy and how it translates to real estate. What's the impact it's going to have nationally, but also from a hyper-local perspective. So my goal is that you watch this video every week and then you're able to sound really smart at happy hour or dinner parties over the weekend. We are headed into a big news week for the economy, but let me start by recapping the last few weeks. So we had the bank collapses that led to a flood of supply of bonds that drove up mortgage interest rates. We also had the debt ceiling debacle, which spooked everyone and had a negative impact on interest rates as the markets watched for what kind of spending would be built into the resolution. As usual, lawmakers resolved it at the 11th hour, and then rates did rally a bit. We saw some green on the news, but again, markets got worried about the spending built into the deal because spending is inflationary. We got a wild jobs report that showed 339,000 jobs added in May. From where? Economists called this report a nightmare because it gives the Fed free rein to continue their rate hikes. Labor market is strong. They can keep being as aggressive as they want in their battle against inflation. So what are we watching for next week? The Fed will have their 2-day meeting and everyone is waiting with bated breath. Will they pause their rate hiking campaign or will they increase the Fed funds rate from 5.25% to 5.5%? A couple theories on this. So inflation is still double the Fed's target of 2%. Part of the reason for that is a temporary spike in used car sales that we already know was short-lived and is headed down, and also lagging shelter costs, which no one knows better than us, are not continuing to rise. They're actually decreasing. However, the reading is the reading and it's not at their goal yet, so they may keep spiking their rate, especially since the labor market is so strong. If you don't understand why I'm putting that in quotes, check out our previous updates for why the labor market isn't as strong as it appears. But taking all those things into account, strong labor market, inflation still double their target, it looks like they could hike 25 basis points when they meet next week. But remember, this doesn't mean that mortgage rates will automatically go up 1/4 of a point. I actually think the hike is going to be less market moving than the commentary surrounding it. So what their statement comes out and says and what it indicates, that's where the markets are going to be reading between the lines, and that's what the markets are going to react to. So we could see mortgage rates go either way, up or down, even if they do a rate hike. Or other scenario is they pause. I mean, they have already done 10 hikes since last year. And those 10 hikes since last year have led mortgage rates to be at 7%, have led credit card rates to jump above 20%, auto loan rates pushing 7%, federal student loans are now at 5.5%. Basically, while inflation is squeezing the American household into debt, the cost of debt is skyrocketing. I read in Forbes that based on all of that, the markets are predicting a rate hike as only a 1 in 5 chance. So then we're also going to look at the CPI report next week. That's going to be the other market mover that's coming in the next few days. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index. Forecasts predict that headline inflation across all categories will continue to slow, as it has been for the past few months. But core inflation, which doesn't include food and energy costs, will still be well above the Fed's target. This report comes out the morning of, so the Fed has a 2-day meeting next week. This report comes out the morning of the first day of the Fed meeting. So I will break down the outcomes, the market reaction to both of these pieces of news, the CPI and the Fed rate hike or lack thereof, for you guys in next week's video. And hopefully we'll be celebrating and not crying because I am running low on tears. This morning, Zillow released their home value price index that showed the typical home value increased 1.4% from April to May. That's pretty big, like a single month jump of 1.4%. If we were to annualize that, that would be over 20% year over year appreciation. I know it doesn't exactly work like that, and we may not see an increase for the next few months when we look at month over month, but still it tells us that housing markets across the US are showing signs of rebound, of a potential reacceleration of prices, of an imbalance between supply and demand, because that is what causes prices to go up. Not magic, not conspiracy, not evil realtors and lenders pulling at strings behind the scenes, just supply and demand. There were 23% fewer listings this May than last May. Active inventory was down more than half as compared Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say more than half. It was like 46%. So slightly less than half. Active inventory was down a little less than half compared to May of 2019. But the population, the demand for housing, household formations compared to 4 years ago, those are all up. Higher demand, significantly less supply. If we get hyper local though, we're still seeing some listings sit here in Washoe County, many of which are actually priced appropriately. I host a monthly webinar and I update consumers and realtors on the housing market and what's changed in just the past few weeks. And last week I offered to share listings on the webinar. And I got lit up by realtors asking me to feature their listing. Why would you guys be having listings sit when inventory is so tight? It doesn't make sense. But here are my thoughts as to why. Buyers don't understand the opportunity in buying right now. They're just being scared by headlines and they're scared by interest rates, which are actually scary. So I don't hold that against them. But they need us to get out there and educate them on why you can still buy even when interest rates are high. And the second theory I have is that lots of realtors are not working as actively as they could be to find inventory for their clients and to educate them on the ways to make a house that doesn't appear to check every box actually be a good fit for their clients and a good investment, and how certain needs can be met with certain very realistic adjustments to a property. So the truth of the matter is we all have to work a lot harder than we've ever done before, and we have to collaborate a lot more. I mean, the listing agent, the lender, the buyer's agent, everybody has to work together right now to put the deals together. I'm sure you guys are experiencing this just as much as I am. But what I've also experienced is that when we come together right now, it is possible for the buyer and the seller to win. And that's a really unique and really cool thing about the market we are in right now, today. That's my rant. So in closing, for all my locals watching this update, we're hosting a Reels class on Thursday at the brand new Silvercrest condos in Carson City. You'll learn how to shoot those super sleek, trendy reels that you see on social media, and you'll learn how to do it all by yourself using just your phone. You will actually leave the class that day with a piece of content ready to post. And PS, do not sleep on Carson City. Your clients can get huge return on investment out there. I'm going to share that data at the class because I'm not making this up. There's real appreciation to be seen there over the next 5 years. So you should get your ass out to the class on Thursday because it's not just a free class. You're not just going to get free content and free drinks. The information will make you a better real estate investor in Northern Nevada. That's what you want to be, right? Real estate advisor, not investor. Man, that line was supposed to hit so much better. Lastly, a couple dates to share. I'm looking at Tuesday, August 22nd for the next Mortgage and Mimosas. Futures Female is scheduled for Thursday, September 14th. You're going to want to be at these events, whether you're male or female, so save those dates. Have a great weekend, everyone.